Thank you once again. My name is Oyebanji Akins, and you can call me Fresh, and we are live on CTDAmongBlacks. On this special episode, we're gonna be doing something different, and one of the reasons we're trying to do something different is because the goal and mission of this podcast is to bridge the awareness and gap between African Americans and people back home, and especially we focus on Nigerian. And without not wasting too much of our time, like I always say, our topic for this episode is going to be 5 things you need to know before you japa to come to America, and 5 things you need to do within 2 weeks when you move to United States of America. So this particular episode is for people back home, irrespective of where you might be. Maybe you're in Nigeria, maybe you're in Ghana. I feel like it might work for you too. Any part of the African country that you feel like you're planning to come to the United States, this is going to benefit you. And for you living in the United States that knows that your family or friends are coming to settle down, like this is mainly for people that are coming to America to settle down. It's an episode that I definitely know you will enjoy it, and it will really help you in planning yourself when coming to the country. And without wasting time, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the visa and immigration. And I believe for you listening to this that you want to listen to the entire episode, you already have your visa, you already have your immigration paper all settled to work and to live in the United States of America. So one thing I want you to know is try to Google more better about the immigration law. Irrespective of whatever valid visa you have, there are rules and law that guide it. So you don't get carried away about somebody telling you, like a student, when you get to the country, you could work for 40 hours and you'll be so shocked like you can't even do more than, if I'm correct, I think 10 hours a week or 20 hours a week. So those are the things you need to understand about the visa you bring into the country and the immigration law that surround it. And secondly, that I'll be talking about is cultural diversity. For you that have not been privileged to leave your country, to leave Nigeria precisely, to work in another country, I'm telling you right now, try to start checking about their cultural way of living. What you think you know from Nigeria, I'm not going to say it's not going to help you, but it might put you in a place where by the time you catch up with what is going on here, you will have missed a lot of opportunities. So doing your assignments and finding some research about each and every state or city you want to leave. How do they perceive to see black people? Can I see my food? How long is it going to take me? What are the things I need to understand about them? It's not going to cost you anything, because I always tell people, if you already know you're coming or moving to the United States, you're already doing yourself a big favor in your life. It's not going to cost you to take part of your time back home to research about where you're moving to. Because it's definitely going to help you. It's definitely going to put you ahead of every other people that doesn't have the time. So this episode is mainly for people like that are coming to the country. The third thing I'll be talking about is cost of living. For people from Nigeria that might be watching this, we always pay most of our bills once in a year. For example, if you're living in a rented place, you only pay once in a year. United States of America, you got to pay every month. So for you coming in, if you're staying with a friend's family, you're trying to get your own place, it would be nice to Google about where exactly you want to stay. How much is the bill? So it doesn't become where you get out to the country, what you think is only going to be once in a year becomes something you have to do every month. So knowing the cost of living of where you're staying, where you want to stay, or the kind of food you want to eat, having the plan of like, okay, you know what, let me pre-plan myself for the next 3 months. Like, let me make sure I'm having more than enough to take care of myself or my family for the first 3 months if I'm in the country. Maybe I got a job, maybe I don't end up having no job. I know I can still survive with this. Okay, if I can afford to bring this, these are the things I can do. Because these are the things that a lot of us struggle when we move into the country. A lot of people struggle with the cultural shock of adjusting to the fact that you got to pay bills every month. Like everything you have to do in America is practically every month. They don't want you to do it once in a year. They want you to pay it, make it easy for you. But at the same time, making it easy is like stress, because you really won't have enough time to really, really relax, because every week of every month definitely is going to come up with a bill. Maybe your phone bill, maybe your car insurance, maybe your phone insurance, maybe your internet bill, maybe your house rent. Maybe there's a lot of bills that come, credit cards, and those things. Anyone you miss is definitely going to mess your name up, and it's something you don't want to have if you're just coming to the country. And if you end up being messed up with such things, it's going to be even hard for you to achieve or enjoy yourself in the United States of America. And the fourth thing that I will be talking about is going to be understanding health care and insurance. America is a place where they take healthcare seriously, and it's not like in Nigeria where you can just go to any place and say, "Can you give me some drugs?" There's some drugs you wouldn't have access to United States of America. And for purpose of people listening to this from Nigeria, drugs is the same thing we call medicine back home. So in America, we use the word drugs. They don't use medicine a lot. So just in case you find yourself in America and you're trying to buy something and you tell them, I'm buying this medicine, it's not medicine, it's called drugs. So drugs, and there's some drugs that you might have to need, but unfortunately for you, because you don't do your assignment right, you don't know nothing about the insurance, they won't give you those drugs. And even though you get it, you might have to go through a lot of stress, and if you're even around the people that have the right information to tell you how to get it. So coming to United States of America would be a good thing to make some research about healthcare and their way of insurance. So that will help you, and not to limit the insurance part. When I say insurance, there's health insurance, there's car insurance, there's phone insurance. There's a lot of insurance we have in America for people that understand that part very well. Even though if you buying a phone, my phone have insurance. If you buy a ring, you could put insurance on your ring. If you buy a wristwatch, you could put insurance on it. So understanding those things will let you know which one you should subscribe for, which one you really, really don't need. Because if you put insurance on everything you have, I can promise you of one thing, you won't have nothing left by the end of the month. And the fifth thing that I'll be talking about, that the 5 things you need to know before moving to United States of America, is going to be the legal system and rights. I'm a victim of that, but I won't go into that in this particular episode. Knowing your rights will help you to know what to say and what not to say when you find yourself in a situation where you don't have an idea of how I got to this place. I experienced, a friend of mine experienced something when they had an accident and he was scared to call the police, but purposely or because in Nigeria, even though I'm not trying to badmouth Nigeria, but you can't just call a police officer and say back home and say, I have an accident and you got to come down real quick. So not doing that affected that particular person that I know, and the other person called the police, and the person was able to explain their story, and that makes police to, to side the person without having the police. So sometimes, even though you have multiple accidents in America, they allow you to be the first contact to call the police and let them know something like this happened to me. And again, I will be touching more on one thing I talked about just earlier. The fourth one is, understanding life insurance is very, very important. Is it a lot of things, a lot of Nigerians get scared when they tell them about, like, do you have a life insurance? Including me. One time I was scared about it because I was like, when you talk about me about life insurance, like, you want me to die. Like, why do you want me to die? But it's not about dying. It's about some process to take care of your family, to take care of yourself, just in case of something happened that you can't control. And America is not a place where, like, I won't go too much into that part. When you want to bury somebody in America, you have to pay for the land. In Nigeria, you could take your fatherland, your motherland, and you could bury people. But in this place, you can't do all those things. So life insurance would be part of the reason that can help such family when, tragedy happened to anybody where you can't even do nothing else and they have to take care of whatever happened to you after you're gone. So life insurance is a very, very important thing you need to Google about too. So those are the 5 things you need to know before you jump from Nigeria to America. Like I said, the last one is legal system and rights. Please Google about the legal system of any state you move into, any city you're trying to go to, or any irrespective of, maybe you're coming to America, you're going to United States, anywhere, UK, Canada. Doing all this small research will really help you and will put you on the right path that you won't even imagine. Because what you don't know, you don't know. There's nothing you could do about it. Even though you're learned, you're smart, you have a lot of people, you have all the connection you think you need in your life. But if you still don't know some things, you don't know it. There's nothing you could do about it. And the best way to know a lot of things is Googling about things. Google is there, make some research. Having a half knowledge is better than having nothing, because if you have a half knowledge, that could really help you to know how to, structure your question from asking somebody, can you help me with this? This is a tip I'll add to it, In Nigeria, when you want to service your vehicle, anything like that back home, there's a name we call it. They call it engine oil. In America, there's nothing like engine oil. You got to know how to make sure you're saying the right thing, so you don't end up being in a situation where you don't even know how to express yourself. You know what you know, but they don't know what exactly you're trying to tell them. And you start using your hand sign, and that might become something where you get caught up and you feel like, you know what, I don't even need it. And that might limit where you're supposed to be. So the next 5 things I'll be mentioning is about 5 things you need to know in the first 2 weeks you move to United States of America. If you could do this, it will help you a lot of things. It will really, really put you ahead of a lot of people around you. It is not a must, but it's something, if you can yield to it, it will open a lot of doors for you. And the first thing I'll be saying is, once you're already in the country, try to understand and complete your immigration formalities. So should, in case maybe there's some things you need to do, maybe in the next 90 days, maybe in the next 6 months, the immigration wants you to do something like this. Let that be your priority, to make sure every information you need to know have been done within the first 2 weeks. And one of the reasons why I said the first 2 weeks is this. After first 2 weeks, people will start coming around you, want to take you out. They want to show you around the city. That is when you start making decisions. So your first for your first 5-point plans will definitely decide how you move after 2 weeks. Okay, do I want to go to this place, or I should go to this place? Even though people are coming around you telling you should move like this, you start telling them like, nah, I think I have a plan. This is what I'm looking for. So that can guide you to where you need to be. Because if you find yourself in the wrong circle of friends that they don't have the information, you're about to be stuck there for maybe 1 year or 2 years, just because you didn't do your research, just because you didn't, take some time from home to understand the immigration law formality that's going to guide you towards how you can legally be able to work. That's one. And number two is going to be, sorry for that, I'm supposed to be saying it off head, but the best part for me is to have it right so that I don't try to mess it up. So the second thing is going to be set up a basic necessity. What do I mean by set up a basic necessity? Is securing where you want to stay. Once you have where you want to stay, I'm saying this for people that are coming from home, in respect of any country you're coming from. If you're legal in this United States of America, the next thing you should do is to open a bank account. And one of the reasons is this: in the United States of America, we don't use cash. They don't encourage cash. Everything has to go through your card or your credit card, your debit card or your credit card, your credit card or your debit card. Those are the things that always have to happen to make sure you're doing the right thing. And like I said again, securing a housing will help you to have an address to be able to make sure you are having what is asked for you when you go to the bank. Because when you go to the bank, they definitely want to need where you're staying, which is going to be your address. So once you secure a place you're staying, the next thing I want you to do in your plan is to get a bank account. See, once you immediately get a bank account, they've given you a temporary debit card. The next thing you need to do is to get a phone. If you have a phone, all you got to do is to get a line. Put a line into that phone, and that will secure you for the most important thing in your life. And what is that? To get a job. Now you got a bank account in your name. Now you have a phone. So in respect of anybody or anywhere you're going to, when you talk to them, the next thing they will ask you, can I have your number, please? Or you can say, oh, this is my number, just in case you find that job going through. You could call me on this number, and then I'll be able to get along with you. And that's another thing, you start going to places, establish yourself, build foundation with people. Don't stay indoor too much after 3-4 days. America is not a country when allow you to be lazy. So chilling for 1, 2, 3 months, it's definitely doing you no good. Even if your family, friends, I'm telling you this, if your family friend tells you to sit down for 1 month, don't do nothing. Tell them that, please, I want to do something. Because the moment you start making your own money, the moment you're making things easy for in respect of who you're living with. Unless they're a billionaire that they feel like you don't got to do nothing. And I would advise you, telling you not to do nothing is that they're trying to screw you up in this country. Because you doing nothing will definitely make you do something you don't have to do. I won't say more than that in that area. So the third thing I want to mention, if you're still following me, is going to be orientation to local areas. What do I mean by orientation to local areas? If you're a Muslim, you got to start looking for mosque you want to join. If you're a Christian, you got to start going to, church. And irrespective of faith you think you have to start making sure you start familiarizing yourself with them. Because one thing you might not be able to understand is the more you are trying to sit alone, the more things is not going to come to you. And remember, like we said the first thing you need to do is to have a bank account. And the second thing, the first thing is the immigration law to make sure you formalize everything. The second thing is to make sure you open a bank account. And the third thing is to make sure you have a phone. Having a bank account and a phone is going to definitely help you to know what you need to do. Going to public place, knowing maybe whatever state you come in, they use transport. For like Houston, we have a transport system, but a lot of people don't use it. Cause a lot of people use it because we use personal car a lot, because I don't know, for some reason since I've been here, we have taxi, we have a little bit of, I think we have subways, I'm not sure, but we have some train, but people don't really go through that unless you're in downtown, or maybe you find yourself in like, all those other places. But everybody just drive. We just drive our own car. And that's one thing. So knowing all those things will really help you on how to move around in the city of any place you want to stay. And the next thing I would definitely talk about within that 2 weeks, start making research about healthcare and insurance. And one of the reasons why I keep mentioning that part a lot here, anything can happen to anybody at any time. And those are the things they will ask from you when you go to the hospital. Do you have insurance? What on that healthcare are you? For the fact that you don't even know nothing about healthcare from Nigeria, you don't even understand it, will throw you off that what you're supposed to be treated for, you might be scared to even tell them to understand what you're supposed to say. And not saying the right word can jeopardize a lot of life, And if you find yourself again around people that doesn't even understand that emergency hospital is a place you could go to and they will take care of you firsthand, irrespective of your legality in the country. A lot of people still don't want to try that because they don't understand the health system and the insurance that comes with it. So that's one thing I want you within the first 2 weeks to understand, in respect of any state you're staying, because that will really, really help you and take care of you. Having all this information within your first 2 weeks, I've set you on the good ground of how you can maneuver yourself about any job you want to find. And the last thing that I think is most important thing is socializing and networking. After your first 2 weeks, you've relaxed, you've sleep, you've called people from home, you've fantasized that you're in the United States of America. You've bragged on anybody you want to brag on. You've opened your eyes in the middle of the night and step outside and it's like, yes, I'm United States of America. Once you finish all those moments, within 2 weeks, calling your mom, your dad, your loved ones, your fiancé, however you want to call it. And, showing off to village people like, yes, I've arrived in the United States of America. One thing I think you need to start doing after 2 weeks is socializing and trying to network yourself. Because maybe you like it or not. I can categorically tell you after 6 months, if you stay with family and friends and they don't bother you, after 6 months, you start feeling pressure. And I could break that one a little bit down. The pressure is the pressure of leaving home, coming to the United States of America, the pressure of people you brag on, the pressure of what you found out when you get into the country, the pressure of how are you going to adjust to the cultural shock of the country you are. I don't care what you want to tell me. Coming to leave, play for holiday is different to when you want to live in United States of America. Like I said, I'll give you 6 months. Maybe you have a wonderful family that don't demand nothing from you, but I can bet with you after 6 months, you will start longing for some things you want to have yourself. And the only way you could do that in United States of America is you have to work. So if you don't start planning to start networking yourself within the first 2 weeks, to start going to socialized places, if it is club you like, go to club. You know what you get. You find out from going to club. If it's church, go to church. If it is seminars, if it is program that has to do with people that you can familiarize yourself with, definitely go. Because knowing one person can change the entire journey of your life. And if you know the right person by the right time, will definitely put you ahead of a lot of people that you might met in the United States of America. Just because you're coming late doesn't mean you have to go their own route. If you already do your assignment properly, you can be ahead of them and save those that you met in the country to move faster than how they're moving. It's all about perspective of what you want to do when you get into the country. So I believe the 4 or 5 things I've mentioned that you need to do before coming to the United States of America will put you on the right path. And the things you need to do first 2 weeks when you move to the United States of America will put you on the right path to have the American dreams, to enjoy the dreams of you enjoying your life and be able to take care of your loved ones and be able to have the right story to tell about United States. A lot of people get it wrong and they tell the wrong story about this country. And the only reason is this, because they fail to do their assignments before leaving and they fail to act on what they know when they get into the country. When you can understand these 2 things, you definitely tell the wrong story. And maybe you like it or not, United States is a place for people like me and you that might be watching this to come and hustle, make it at home, and be able to pass the good memories of what we're enjoying this country back home. You shouldn't be coming here and passing the wrong information back home. And the only way we can be able to do that is by bridging the gap and bringing the awareness of what we know from home. I'm from Nigeria. All I'm doing is to bring my knowledge from Nigeria to the United States. And whatever United States is giving me, which I know is for blessing, is to take it, half of it or anything back home to let people to understand like America is a great place to be. But however you want to write your own journey will determine of how what you know before you leave the country and what you act on when you get to the United States of America. I hope you act on the right path. I hope you stay in the right space of the law, and I hope America becomes that place you will have a good memory to tell people back home and to bring people in respect of how you might say it. And if you are that person that don't want to bring anybody, you don't want to write history for your family or your name, that's all good. But one thing I will tell you, this is CTD Among Blacks, and the meaning of CTD Among Blacks, connecting the dots among all blacks, irrespective of wherever you might be, any part of you that have the line, the bloodline, the storyline of being black, you're all welcome. And you can check our website on www.CTDAmongBlacks. On YouTube is CTD Among Blacks. You could check us again on Apple Podcasts, you could check us on Spotify, you could check us on iHeartRadio, and you could definitely come to our website if you have any story you want us to tell on your behalf, or you would like to partnership with us, or you would like to sponsor any episode, or you would like to be on this episode. You can reach out to us on ctdamongbblacks@gmail.com. I remain fresh, and like I always say before I end the program, anything you're doing that you know you're so sure is going to benefit your life. If people tell you it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. In the next decade, I can bet they will come back and tell like, oh, I didn't know that's what you're doing. So I'm telling you, keep up to that, believe in you, and keep doing what you believe. And share this particular episode with anybody that you feel that might need it, because I believe by helping one person, we can make it a better place. Thank you. Until the next episode.